Welcome back to another episode of Revealing Biblical Truths. In this video, we'll be going through Exodus chapters 26 through 29. Before we get started, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, and comment down below on your insights on this section. So in chapters 26 and 27, Yah lays out very specific instructions on how the tabernacle was to be made, and also the altar of incense. At the end of chapter 27, he tells them to bring in pure olive oil to light the lamp so that it stays lit. In chapter 28, he tells Moshe to take Aharon, his brother, as well as their sons to be priests, and to make special garments for them. Here is a description of the priests' garments as laid out in chapter 28. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aharon thy brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And they shall take gold, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and they shall make an ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen, with cunning work. It shall have 2 separate shoulder pieces thereof, joined at the edges thereof, and so it shall be joined together. As the curious girdle of the ephod, which is upon it, shall be of the same, according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And thou shalt make 2 onyx stones, and grave on them the names of the children of Yasharel, and 6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names on the rest of the other stone, according to their birth, with the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet. Thou shalt engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Yasharel, and thou shalt make them to be set in ouches of gold. And thou shalt put 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod for stones of memorial unto the children of Yasharel, and Aharon shall bear their names before Yahuah upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial. And thou shalt make 2 ouches of gold, and 2 chains of pure gold at the ends. Of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreath chains to the ouches. And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it. Of gold, of blue, and purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen thou shalt make it. 4 square it shall be doubled. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt set it in settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row, a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. In the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Yasharel, 12, according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, every one with his names. They shall be according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the end of wreathen work of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And thou shalt put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate. And the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, and the border thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. And the 2 other rings of gold thou shalt make, and thou shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, upon the curious girdle of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, that the breastplate may not loose from the ephod. And Aharon shall bear the names of the children of Yasharel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place, for a memorial to Yahuah continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aharon's heart, when he goeth in before Yahuah. And Aharon shall bear the judgment of the children of Yasharel upon his heart before Yahuah continually. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod of all blue. And there shall be a hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof, and they shall have a binding of woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of a habergeon, that it be not rent. And beneath upon the hem of it shall you make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, round about the hem thereof, the bells of gold in between them round about. The golden bell and the pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aharon to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy place before Yahuah, and when he come out, that he die not. And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, and engrave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness to Yahuah. And thou shalt put it on a blue lace, that it may be on the mitre, upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be. And it shall be upon Aharon's forehead, that Aharon may bear the iniquity of the holy things, which the children of Yasharel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before Yahuah. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aharon's sons thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make them girdles, and bonnets thou shalt make for them for the glory and for beauty. And thou shalt put them on Aharon thy brother, and for his sons with him, and shalt anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness, from the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. And they shall be upon Aharon and upon his sons, when they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place, that they bear not iniquity, and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him, and to his seed after him. It is interesting that the description given to Yahusha in the book of Revelation is similar to the high priest garments. It says in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13, And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with a golden girdle. In addition, when describing the foundations of the city of New Jerusalem in Revelation chapter 21, it mentions 12 precious stones, similar to that of the stones of the priest's ephod. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th a chrysoprasus, the 11th a jacinth, and 12th an amethyst. In chapter 29 of Exodus, Yah tells Aharon to bring 1 bullock, 2 rams, and some unleavened bread and oil with him into the tabernacle. He was to anoint his head with oil, and then take the bullock and kill it, putting the blood on the 2 sides of the altar, and pouring the rest on the bottom. Then put the inward organs and the fat on the altar, and burn it as an offering. However, the flesh and the dung they were to take outside and burn it for a sin offering. They were to take a ram and kill it, and sprinkle the blood around the altar. Then they were to cut it in pieces and burn the whole thing on the altar as a burnt offering. The other ram was to be for a consecration. Then they were to kill it, put the blood on Aharon and his sons' right ears, their right thumb, and their right big toe, and then sprinkle the rest around the altar. Then they were to take the internals along with the cakes and the unleavened bread from the basket, and give them to Aharon's sons, where they would be for a wave offering before Yahuah, and then burn them on the altar. The priests were also consecrated for 7 days, and that ends chapter 29. On the next episode, we will go into chapter 30 and try to finish Exodus. Thanks for watching. Till next time, Shalom.